Hi everyone, welcome to this confidence and self-worth workshop. My name is Eliora. I'm going to be sharing this workshop with you online and wanted to welcome you. Even though we're watching this as a recording, I would like to make this as interactive as possible, and please feel free if you do have in the end any comments or questions to message me directly or through Ness. And I would really love to hear your experience as a group during this confidence workshop. So let's jump in. We're going to start first into some attributes of what actually confidence means and what does self-worth look like. So, confidence is an ability to see our innate strengths and gifts. Basically, it's a possibility of looking inward and spending time with ourselves, getting to know ourselves, seeing what are the things that we're good at, what are some gifts that we were born with. Maybe some of you were born with great communication skills, with abilities to be leaders, to be creative artists, to be thought innovators, inventors. There's so many different skills that we're all born with, and confidence starts from really being able to look inward and recognize what are those attributes. Now, another thing is self-worth, which is a little different than confidence because it's an ability to accept and see ourselves as valuable and important. And basically, self-worth is just an unconditional understanding and acceptance of who we are, regardless of what we do, regardless of whatever external things we're able to give to the world. It's just an understanding just that you, by existing and breathing on this planet, you have value. And those two combined are really going to give you a lot of power and ability to go through life in a great way because you're able to really embrace yourself as a person and then also add to that whatever gifts you're able to share with the world. Um, Having self-worth is an ability to embrace all parts of ourselves, including the parts we wish to improve. And it's an ability to choose to focus on strengths, not to reject or neglect aspects of ourselves that we deem as unworthy, but rather viewing them as opportunities for growth. So the important key behind self-worth is really to understand that we are complex creatures, and sometimes we have things that society or we ourselves deem as unworthy or unvaluable, and then we start to push that away and develop a low self-esteem or self-worth. So the idea behind accepting ourselves entirely unconditionally is the ability to see that maybe we do have things that we'd like to improve. We'd like things that we'd like to strengthen or tweaking our personality, but we still embrace and accept the present moment where we are on the journey, and we don't reject that as bad. Another ability is to see opportunities for the things that we would like to improve in ourselves rather than judging them or criticizing them, because that actually pushes us backwards instead of growing forward. Let's look into some methods to support recognizing and valuing our strengths. First is having a positive morning routine. So, as you all know, many of us either used to or still are waking up in the morning, and the first thing we do is look on our phone, or we start to think about our to-do list, maybe some thoughts of anxiety or worry. A really great way to counter that is to start with something really positive, like gratitude lists, maybe go through a prayer, a meditation, doing some breathing, being thankful for all the things that you have. Maybe think about some things that you love about yourself or about your life. Basically, all these different practices like mindfulness, meditation, and prayer, they're able to really set your mindset in a really good way instead of starting the day on a left foot, which actually spirals you down away from your goals. Another thing is doing positive journaling. So, journaling in general is a great way just to express your thoughts and translate whatever you're thinking about into paper. But positive journaling means that you're actually going a little bit more intentional into speaking specifically things that you love and appreciate about yourself. So there's still value in, let's say, journaling about your worries or your fears in life. But if when you take time to journal about things that you specifically love and appreciate, it creates a certain mindset in your understanding of your worth and value because you're focusing your attention on very positive topics. And then that slowly translates in your subconscious mind as rituals that prepare you to excel in your life. Number four is being intentional with consuming empowering information in our environment and on social media. So, for sure, social media is maybe one of the biggest things that can hinder our self worth or confidence because there's so much comparison and mixing of ideas and Photoshop and all those kind of things that can really mess with our understanding of who we are as individuals and our innate value. So, be very, very intentional as much as you can. If you observe your, let's say, watch history or the people that you follow online, do they bring you up? Do they encourage you? Do they make you more positive, more inspired and growing? Or does the content actually start to seed seeds of insecurity, of fears, worry, all those kind of things? And really try as much as you can to eliminate those things that bring you down and try as much as possible to create a filter and an algorithm for yourself where you're focused on the things that bring you up because that is highly, highly affecting your own self-concept, the things that you look at every day, both on social media or whatever things that you're just consuming throughout the day. Number five is surrounding yourself with positive community of people who highlight and celebrate our gifts. So, a really famous quote that I love is, "We are the sum of the five people we spend the most amount of time with." So, the people you're around really, really affect how you think about yourself. And so, having this evaluation of who are the people in your life, do they bring you up? Do they celebrate and recognize and acknowledge all the things that you're good at? Or do they maybe kind of bring you down? Is there some negative cultures of gossip or complaining or too much thinking and consuming about the past or the future in ways that are not elevating you? And this doesn't mean that you have to be sort of like toxic positivity when you're not allowing for real life to happen, because of course sometimes there's fears, there's worries, but we're not robots. We're still human. But as much as possible, try to surround yourself with people that also have a growth mindset and they're also trying to build their self-confidence and esteem, because as a group, you're going to grow together. And if you don't have that right now, try to initiate those conversations. Try to be the person that comes to your friend group and say, "Hey, let's focus more on the things we're good at," or what is the greatest success we had this week or this past month, and how to really bring each other together as a group and just create a new culture where you uplift each other is going to create an amazing shift in your life. All right, we're going to look right now into some exercises and tools to reinforce your self-worth. So, first is the concept of positive self talk. The thoughts and words we think about ourselves are deeply important in the shaping of our confidence. So, speaking and thinking positively about ourselves and focusing on our strengths, gifts, and talents is building neural pathways and habitual patterns that shape our perceptions. So, really, the more we pay attention to how we think and what we speak, is going to create a tremendous impact on your life, because in our brain we literally have neural pathways that are just like roadmaps, and the more we think about certain ideas, they start to kind of cement in our consciousness and influence the way we think and perceive reality. So really paying attention to think positively about yourself. Again, it's having this evaluation of what are the great things that you've done so far in your life? What are all the things you accomplished? What are the things that you love about your personality, about maybe it's you love the fact that you're a good friend or you're a good worker, or you're always, let's say, you're on time, you're respectful, you're patient, compassionate. All these qualities and characteristic in yourself is going to slowly really shape and enhance your perception of who you are as a valuable person. This is why it's so important to cultivate self-awareness and practices like meditation to build the practice of paying attention to our internal dialogue and make sure it's positive. So, really, I would highly recommend if any of you can do a meditation practice, even just 5 minutes a day, it's really going to make a big difference in your life because sometimes we just don't really realize how much we think negatively about ourselves until we actually listen to it. And one metaphor that someone helped me a lot, and I like to use that, is that think of your mind like a radio station and just imagine that somebody's speaking and really think like what is the content there, what's the percentage of thoughts that are exciting and inspiring, and what is the percentage that is just bringing you down and it's not helpful. So the more you practice that and just create that loving dialogue, like you are your own best friend, and really like imagine that you're speaking to your own best friend, instead of speaking to somebody who's like a critic, is going to help you a lot. So, for example, how do we speak to ourselves after a situation at work that we interpret as negative? Or is there a way to reframe that? Or what do we tell ourselves first thing when we wake up in the morning? Is it thoughts of worry or of gratitude and inspiration? So, really, the positive self talk, it comes to play in those moments in life where things don't exactly go the way we want them to. So, of course, it's usually easy to think good things about ourselves when we're meditating in the morning, drinking our tea or coffee. But really, the test comes when life's challenges start to happen and we maybe get disappointed or there's a conflict or something that happens. And then we're actually tempted to start negatively interpreting those situations. Um, so really just try to reframe that. And whenever something happens that it's not exactly according to how you planned it, try to reframe that and reorganize the meaning behind what the situation is and really just see how can that actually be for the better instead of for the worse. Another tool is utilizing positive affirmations. So, beyond the positive self talk, you can also use affirmations, which is a powerful way to enhance your self worth. So, affirmations can be practiced like listening to audio recordings, reading or repeating them down, writing them, or whatever, using affirmations or sentences that best suit you. Another great way to utilize affirmations is creating vision boards or posting images that deeply elevate your mood and inspire your mindset. So affirmations are just a great tool because a lot of the time it is an external resource that you add to your toolbox. So I use them, for example, I have YouTube videos that I listen to, or on Spotify, I have audio recordings of really inspiring content like gratitude meditation, self-love, self-acceptance, different things like that. And that is really a great way because it just provides you that extra strength, especially during times when you feel tired or maybe you're not really managing to stay positive. It's an external resource that you can use that's going to give you a lot of tools of reinforcing that self concept. And especially if you do print out things like a vision board, like posting something in your bedroom, your fridge, something that you see every day, it's going to slowly get imprinted in your subconscious mind and really help you elevate your mood. Um, for example, everything is always working out for the best, or using affirmations like all situations are opportunities, saying to yourself, I am capable and valuable, or I am always learning and growing from every interaction. These are sentences that are really empowering and they're going to slowly start to influence the way you see reality and the way that you think about things. And so I would highly recommend you to just try that this week or the next month. Find certain sentences or audios or visuals that are really inspiring and uplifting to you, and just surround yourself with them and see how much your mood is improving. Okay, another great tool you can use for reinforcing your self-worth is having a growth mindset. So, growth mindset is choosing to interpret events as opportunities to evolve rather than failures or mistakes. It's the ability to have patience with ourselves and having realistic expectations. So, growth mindset basically means that you are actively choosing to interpret situations as opportunities, even though there's a part of you, or maybe even within your surroundings, like your, as a culture, I think a lot of the time we are naturally drawn more towards being very critical or defeated. Sometimes there is a negativity bias where for different reasons, we are drawn to see the things that is lacking, the thing that is not working. But having a growth mindset means that you are consciously and intentionally choosing to redirect your thoughts to see situations as an opportunity. It's remembering that great things take time and cultivating perseverance while enjoying the process. So, part of having a growth mindset is really having this counter approach to the, quick fix culture where we want instant gratification. We want things to feel really, really good right in the moment, which is natural. I mean, we're human. There's a part of us that just wants to succeed and excel right away. But if we can really have that sense of endurance of building something slowly, step by step, towards a long term goal that's actually going to have lasting impact, you'll see that it's really, really worth it because true self worth and self confidence comes over time and it comes from keeping promises to yourself and also having the ability to build a strong foundation of creating things that mean something to you, even if you don't see the results right away. It's basically seeing the process, thinking it through, walking through the entire journey, and then seeing the fruit of your labor and realizing that you actually have so much more strength and power than you realize. And that's going to give you a lot of confidence. Growth mindset also means that you remember the many successes you already had in your past and meditating on the gifts that we already acquired throughout our life to remind us that we are capable to achieve our goals. So, this is a great way where you can also reflect back on what are the things you've done in the last month, the last year, the last 5 years, all the things you accomplished, maybe things that were terrifying to you 10 years ago and now you do them without even thinking. Maybe something like standing on stage, maybe reading or writing in public, going to speak to a person that you really wanted to, applying for a job you thought you couldn't and then you got it, going to a new place, traveling, all these different activities where maybe in the past you thought you couldn't do it, but you actually did. And you maybe you thought the world is going to end and it didn't. And having that ability to really see that you are indeed in a place where you're powerful and you're also able to see how the things you've done in the past were actually milestones toward your future, it's going to give you a lot of excitement to build forward and remembering that whatever sort of so-called obstacles you have in the future are actually again just lessons and opportunities that you will succeed just like you have in the past. Okay, and one last exercise and a tool to boost your self-worth is reframing. Reframing is a great tool to use when going through a struggle or a challenge in life. So, like I was saying before, a lot of these concepts, deep down, we know that they're true and they're really quite easy to grasp. But the difficult thing is really to apply them during times of adversity, because this is where we get tested. And sometimes we forget all the things that we know and we kind of go back into negative habits or situations where maybe we're practicing some negative patterns that don't really serve us in the long term and they actually cause self harm. So if you encounter a situation that brings your confidence down, make sure to practice to take a big breath and pause the negative story that you have in your mind. So the first step in reframing is really cultivating awareness, and that's where breathing and meditating really helps because you step out from the story you have in your mind and you're actually able first to just ground in the present moment and stop the story and be the author of your own story. Whatever story you had in the past, imagine yourself. This is what I do sometimes. I just imagine taking a pencil and literally rewriting a new story as the situation occurs. And what you want to do is to pay attention to the emotions that you're experiencing. So if you start to feel fear or anxiety or worry or regret, despair, disappointment, all these emotions, you try to welcome them and you still stay with them. You don't reject them, but you're practicing having a reframing of the meaning behind that situation. So you choose to redefine the meaning and imagine how the situation is actually happening for the better. For example, you imagine how the situation is going to grow your character, provide you with future skills, or make you a more empathic and patient team and community member. So, imagination is one of the greatest tools you'll ever have developed in your life because it's limitless. And whatever you're going to use it, it's going to basically play out either for the better or the worse. We can catastrophize and think of worst possible option, or we can think, oh my gosh, this situation is actually really improving my life. And maybe this situation, let's say, I'll give you an example at work. If you think that maybe you destroyed a project or something, and at first you might think, oh, you're such a terrible person, but actually, maybe that situation made you into a more patient person and also a better coworker. Maybe it also makes you more relatable and vulnerable, and it's able to develop friendship with your team where they finally get to see your humanity, and maybe you're able to open up and not pretend like things are always great, but actually try to create a situation where so-called failure is actually creating better team cohesion within your life. Another example is let's say, for example, you have a situation where there's a skill you want to develop or a part of your personality that you see somebody else succeeding with and you feel jealousy or envy. Instead of feeling jealousy, what you want to do is to see that as an inspiration. Think, wow, instead of thinking, oh, that person has something that I don't have, think, wow, that person has a skill that I can learn, and they're teaching me and they're reminding me that there's a part of myself that I want to improve. And the more you do that, you're able to really reframe and change the meaning you give to situations. And you'll see it's going to make a really big difference in your life where instead of seeing enemies and problems, you actually really truly see opportunities. Okay, so the next step is we're going to go into some resources from books and films that can really help you in developing that self-worth and confidence. First, this is a book that I was encountered to in university. It's called Strengths Finder, and it's a really, really great book. It has a questionnaire that goes through different parts of your personality, the things you're good at, the things you love to do, things you excel, and it then shows you the results, the top five top strengths that you have. And it also has different suggestions on how you can apply those strengths into everyday life, like professions and different pursuits or activities that you want to accomplish in your life. And I would really recommend that because it helps you, first of all, to discover more about yourself, but it also helps you just to realize how many gifts and talents other people around you have. And it just in general, it makes you want to really collaborate and create more with the people around you because you realize that there's much more possibilities and potential than you realized before. And I believe you can also get this questionnaire online, so you can just fill it out. And there's different ones you can find online, just different strengths questionnaires. And that helps because it kind of digs into things that maybe you haven't really recognized in yourself. Like maybe you're not sure 100% what are the things you're really good at, or maybe there's things that you're not sure, like the direction you want to take in life and what things you want to spend time with. So the more you do these questionnaires, it just helps you realize, oh, there's an area that you actually really you're good at and you didn't even realize that you are. So I would really recommend that. The second reference is a movie called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. And the reason why I picked it is just a very kind of sweet, funny drama comedy where it shows a person who is quite insecure, unhappy in his workplace, and gets a little bullied by his work team, and basically decides to go on this really big adventure where he pushes himself out to travel around the world, and he encounters many, many challenges, many adversities that makes him want to just quit, but he keeps going. And even though there's many situations where he wants to give up, in the end, you see how all of those experiences actually worked for the better. So it really, I think, shows you a great way how to reframe situations in life where at first he thinks he failed in certain aspects, but then he realized that actually not only it built his character very much, but it also helped him in having better relationships with his family, with a woman that he pursued. And so I would really recommend it because it just reminds us again of our humanity and also in a very realistic way how we go through these moments. It just makes you want to cringe and give up, but later there's almost a humor in the tragic moments, and you're able to actually see how in the end it worked out for the best. Another reference is called 360 Days of Positive Affirmations. And this is a great tool because provides you with that sense of discipline and routine and some kind of a continuity where you just get to read every single morning or evening before you go to bed or where you wake up something to inspire you, something to give you that sense of confidence boost. And it's going to give you that framework where you already have something to give you kind of like these little seeds that are planted throughout the year. So this is just one example. You can also find many other, books or similar, like some of them actually have journaling exercises, different quotes from famous authors or poetry, different things like that. But I just think that I would recommend maybe treating yourself this year of, we're in the beginning of 2025. Maybe that can be also an inspiration to just get yourself a book like that and see how much your life and your attitude slowly improves. And the last book is by an author that I really love. Her name is Brene Brown. It's called The Gifts of Imperfection. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. So, this is a really great book where she goes into the gifts of the aspects that we deem as wrong or unlikable, and actually seeing that those parts in us are actually the keys to create better relationships, more authenticity, more vulnerability, more real, raw connections with the people that we interact with. And the reason why it's so powerful is because really, I think so many times when we do face situations where we struggle with self confidence or self worth, we have an idea or a concept that something in us is wrong when we don't realize that actually it really is a gift. And sometimes the things that you might think is really awkward can be very healing for somebody. And if you just try to allow yourself to step out of your shell and really be in that place of authenticity and just expressing yourself, maybe it's even little things like wearing that weird shirt that you thought nobody's gonna like, or singing a song on an open mic, or speaking up in a team meeting or a board meeting, and just saying that thing that's on your mind, and really seeing how powerful that can be. And sometimes that can really liberate people. And even though at first, again, it could be terrifying, but the results are that you're actually going to experience a sense of greater connection with people and also greater respect because people will respect you for standing up for what you believe in and expressing yourself. And in the end, so much of confidence and self-worth is really just accepting who we are and expressing it authentically into the world. So, um, this is kind of in a nutshell coming to a close of this workshop. I feel like there's so many other concepts and topics and resources I could share with you. And if you do have any questions or topics where you'd like to talk more in the future, maybe elaborate or on certain things that you're struggling with or you want to discover more, please feel free to let me know or again message Ness and she will contact me. And yeah, until then, I wish you a really beautiful rest of the week and all the best.